around a year and 2, 3 months, I met my dream girlfriend at that time, my 11 out of 10. She was my everything, and I soon realized that I fucked up bad. Oh, I want to talk to you about this, about my relationship, because I know it's going to be super beneficial to you, not only if you haven't been in a relationship or if you want to get into a relationship, but also the sexual and no fapping part, because I struggled with this in my relationship. So I hope you can learn something from this and I can teach you something. So, the way me and my ex girlfriend at that time got together, it was a pretty degenerate thing. It was just a casual hookup. The reason I'm saying it's degenerate is because it wasn't like, I cold approached her. I kind of felt a connection. We were laughing, blah, blah. It was just through Snapchat. And it was just like, do you want to hook up? Yes, went over there, blah, blah, blah. Through this hookup, and the reason I'm saying it's bad is because I basically was just blinded by love. I had a sexual connection because I lost my virginity. This was my first time I ever slept with a girl, so I lost my virginity. And the oxytocin, which is a love hormone which gets released when you have sexual intercourse with someone, basically, even when you're having sex, but when you orgasm, that's when the oxytocin releases and you're like bonding with the person. So I didn't really know this at that time, but I basically just bonded and was blinded by love to someone that I shouldn't have been. A couple of weeks go past, we date, blah 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 blah, and then I ask her to be my girlfriend. So it's pretty much simple like that. Have a hookup, oxytocin gets released, I fall in love, she falls in love, and after 2 weeks, she's like my girlfriend now. So the reason I'm even talking about this is because looking back at it, I kind of get mad at myself sometimes. Like, it genuinely hurt me a lot sometimes being in this relationship, and I do not want you to go through something like this because it's shit. It's genuinely shit. Like, her past was not good whatsoever. I knew I knew about her past quite a lot, but not as much as I did after I was deeper into the relationship. It's I think it's called tickle truth. It's when a girl gives you some sort of truth, but it's not the complete truth. So she's gonna I don't know, she goes and cheats on you and she's just gonna tell you oh, we only kissed, but the guy probably just plowed her right there. But she's gonna tell you you only kissed. So I feel like that's what I got in the first couple of weeks to months of my relationship. Is she told me little parts yeah, I don't wanna expose her, I don't wanna go in details, but there were just stuff that she briefly touched on, and it was oh, but don't worry, it's not bad. And I was oh, okay, I'm not gonna worry, it's not bad. And then later in the relationship, that's when I found out the worst stuff. And bro, like me telling you, it fucking hurts so much. It hurts when you're in a relationship with a girl that you genuinely love. I've never loved anyone before that. So I genuinely, what I thought was genuine love, I loved this girl. And her telling you she got plowed or fucked by 4 or 5 other guys before you at the age of, she was 16, now 17. So by the age of 16, she already had a body count of 5. And she said 2 of them didn't count because one of them was supposedly rape, which wasn't, because she was drunk with her friends. So that was her fault. She was basically underage drinking somewhere, and she was telling a guy she wanted it. So he gave it to her, but then she didn't, but then she wouldn't want it. But like, fucking bitch, you're drinking, it's your responsibility. I mean, girls don't take responsibility, they're not very intellectual, but it was her responsibility. So for me, I already started getting into this mind like, oh, like that doesn't count as body count. And the next one was like, oh, but that doesn't count either because he kind of only like put it on my thighs and he didn't even put it all the way in and then he already came. He didn't even put it all the way in and he already came. And I was like, oh yeah, no, that's not a body. Bro, what the fuck was wrong with me? And girls gonna do this. A girl's gonna literally make it seem like it's not a bad thing. Because girls hate it. They don't like admitting that they're a slut or they're a whore or, I don't know, they've done some degenerate stuff with their life because it sucks. It sucks being a girl and you have to admit it. Especially like if you genuinely love a guy and you know that the guy might break up with you because there's some shit you did in your past that he doesn't like. Well, this was me. And you know what I did about it? Like after I found out all of this stuff, I was probably like halfway into this relationship. I'd say probably 8 months in is when I genuinely found out everything. You know what I did? I did fucking nothing. I did absolutely nothing. I got all these emotions that were coming up, all these mixed feelings, like saying like, Jan, even at the start of the relationship, there were these emotions just saying, Jan, this is not right, This was a hookup, okay? That was it. You maybe friends with benefits, that's it. You're not going further. All right, this girl isn't it. I got these emotions at the start of the relationship. And I got so many mixed feelings throughout the whole entire relationship. And I clouded those emotions. I pushed them down. I ignored them. I didn't want to like listen to them. I didn't want to open up to them and be like, you know what? This might be right. This girl might not be it. And I knew that she knew that so basically I knew that she knew that these feelings and everything she was telling me hurt me a lot. Because she can tell through my face expression and she knew I didn't like it. I told her that I don't like this, Like, I literally told her at the start of this relationship, I'm not going to date you because of your past. So she knew damn well that I just absolutely hated her past and I just didn't like it. But I was basically like a full-on cuck and I didn't really have that much self-respect for me at the time. So I just, I put those emotions away. I let them be clouded and I just kept going. And I remember there were a lot of times where, especially when she met my parents, there were a lot of times where I was hoping she wouldn't say some things. Like I was scared to leave her with my parents alone because I was like, if she says something, my parents are going to be like, Jan, what kind of girl is this? Like, who did you bring home? Because this was the first ever girl I brought home. And it took me a long time to tell them that I was in a relationship and then for them to meet her. And down the line, when they found out more about her and we went on some camping trips, like me and my mum had an argument because my mum was telling me like, this isn't right, like it's weird about her past. This is weird, this shouldn't be there. Like, what is this? And me being the defensive, stupid boyfriend, I was like, yelling at my mum, no, this is wrong, like it's because of this. I literally told my dad, I was like, I mean, but you can't really judge a girl by her past because, a girl can always change. And then like after I broke up with my girlfriend, I told my dad I was such a big pussy and that I was just coping with myself. I told him, I was like, you know, when I said you can't judge a girl by her past, I literally just said that to make myself feel better about myself, because I knew that this girl's past was bad, and you can judge a girl's past 1000%. I'm not trying to be like an absolute dick here, but it's so true. So I was basically just reassuring myself, and my family knew that, she wasn't like, we weren't super compatible. We felt like we were, but deep down, it was just emotions that connected us. Nothing else really connected us. No hobbies, no nothing. I literally had to make her go to the gym. I had to like make her like, fuck, this sounds so bad, but I had to make her like eat healthy. I had to make her do this, do that, because she was just a loser. Like, I don't want to be mean to her, but she was so much on her phone. And then the problems, of course, got worse in the relationship. Like, we got way too close to each other, like way too close. It got to a point where my sister was visiting us from a different country, and we were on a holiday. Me, my mum, my dad, and my sister. And I kept texting my girlfriend because my girlfriend literally got mad at me if I didn't reply to her. And my sister's like, why are you always texting? Like, what are you always texting about? And I was like, just stuff. She was literally just texting me, and we were just talking. Long story short, she had I researched about this a little bit, but she had a anxious attachment style in a relationship. So she was like scared I was going to cheat on her. She was scared I was going to do stuff to her. So she was always trying to validate herself by getting reassurance from me. So there were days where I was working, and the job I was doing, because I was working for myself, so I was doing like a property job. I was building a shed, and I was supposed to go see her, and I had to postpone it a bit longer, the same day, but just longer on the hours, because it was taking me time. I was shaking, and I was close to tears. I literally remember I was putting up this gate for this lady, and I was shaking, and I was almost gonna cry, because I knew that if I took longer, my girlfriend was gonna get mad at me because I took long. Like, sorry, but it's fucked to think of it like that. I was out here trying to run like a small property business, and this girl was getting upset at me because I was taking too long to go to hers. And then her place was 30-kilometer drive from me, so like 40 minutes away. And I was driving there like twice, sometimes 3 times a week. She came to mine 3 times. And those 3 times were the biggest problem. And another problem is she had to know everywhere I was. I literally had to let her know when I was leaving the house. I had to snap her everywhere I was, because I told her, look, I don't need to know every single detail you're doing, but if you tell me this is fine, you're not. I was still like trying to have a masculine feminine relationship, so I said, no guys, she deleted guys off her phone. Wasn't big of a problem at the start. There was a bit, but after it got better, still I'm a fucking bitch for that. But after some time, it's not like she was wearing the pants of the relationship. I was the dominant one, but I just let myself get fucked over without saying, no, this is not going to work. So I feel like, call me biased for this, but I would have liked to know where she was going, but it doesn't have to be the same way around. Because no, I'm not going to cheat on her. I'm not a stupid girl who goes around, gets horny, and some guy sees her, and she's going to get his Instagram, and then of course she's not going to get fucked in the public bathrooms by him or something, but slowly but surely she's going to be texting someone, and that's how they cheat. A guy can literally just go and, shag a girl in the bathrooms or something. But I had a ton of respect for myself, and I knew I wasn't going to cheat on this girl because I had my morals, and I was like, I'm not going to cheat on this girl because I genuinely love her. But it was, yeah, just, it wasn't good. The whole she needed to know where I was and making me stressed when I was working too long and not seeing her. And, oh, fuck me, man. Just brings like anxiety not talking about it, just thinking about it because, yeah, it's cooked. And then, of course, sexual problems didn't make it easier. And this was me because I started before the relationship. I was on nofap, so I wasn't consuming porn. I wasn't masturbating anything. And then throughout the relationship, I got into this bit of a porn addicted mindset. I believe it's to the fact that I wasn't relapsing. I wasn't watching porn. But then when I started having sex, when I started getting like head, when I didn't get that, when I wasn't with her, like I had these sexual urges, and I was like, well, what's gonna sexually satisfy that is Pornhub or girls on the internet. So I fell into a bit of a downward spiral by watching porn and masturbating and doing all this stuff. It was quite a lot, to be honest. I'd say like maybe 2-3 times a week, and then I'd still see her. So it was quite fucked. And then what made it worse is there was a lot of times where I just couldn't get hard. She was attractive. She wasn't stunning or anything. She wasn't, I always had this like gross feeling that I told myself, I was like, I know I can do better. And I don't know if that's bad, but I genuinely knew that I could get a better chick than this girl. But anyway, there were times where I'm gonna be a bit detailed here, but there were times where like she was in missionary, and I was gonna go. Fuck! If someone finds this from my family, I'm killed. But I was gonna put it in, and then it was that soft that it's like if you've experienced this, it's basically like you go put it in, and it's just something like this. It doesn't want to go in because it's soft. There's no it's not hard. And I think it was because we were becoming more depolarized, spending way too much time together, all this stuff. And me, I was still consuming porn and masturbating, so none of this stuff helped, especially the depolarization, because I wasn't strong enough to say no, this is too much, and she wanted way too much. So basically, we both of us fucked over this relationship by depolarizing ourselves from each other. And this is gonna be mean, but she started becoming less attractive to me. Like, I remember there was one day me and her were in the gym, and there was this like stunning girl in there. She had a nice glutes, nice teddies, like she had this like I still remember these tight tights. She had this like brunette curly hair, just like on some machine, like this fit girl. And I was looking at her, and I was like, while I was doing my set, and I was like, I can see myself with this girl. And now you're gonna hate me for this, but I went to my girl and I looked at her, and I was like, her ass is so mid. Her tits are so mid. She looks so mid. I know it's mean, okay? I'm trying not to laugh because I've. It genuinely just goes back to the fact that oxytocin. It was my first ever relationship, so basically, what I got is what I took and I kept. It's, let's say you're somewhere in the wilderness, right? And you get no food whatsoever. And then McDonald's comes. You're going to snatch it. You're not going to wait. You're going to snatch for Macca's because you haven't received any other food. But then whatever later on, what if there comes like a nice juicy steak? You already have the McDonald's and you're full, so you can't take the steak. I feel like that's the same in a relationship. Like, it's a shit analogy what I'm trying to use here, but you have a girl, all right? The first girl that gives you attention, you just take her, you know? You just take her and she's yours. But then more girls come along. And that's when you're like, ah, shit, that girl looks better than my girl. So this is, I feel like I experienced this a lot because I don't know, she just got quite unattractive to me. And yeah, one thing led to another. And she found out I was staring at that girl and she got mad at me. And I was literally so close to breaking up with her on that day because I got so unattracted. But I don't know. I somehow just stayed with her, and then another half a year like rolled away. But it was interesting. And then the downfall. So this is basically where, a downfall, basically where the relationship was like, at the start it went up like this, it stayed up here, and downfall was when it curved back down. I remember I think we were in my car, something like that. Excuse me. And we were driving somewhere, or were we at hers? I'm not too sure, but she literally told me that she didn't know who she was without me. She was like a nobody because she was relying on me too much, and I knew this. Like, I didn't really know this, but when she told me, I was like, oh shit, that's right. You're always relying on me, like, always this with yarn, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you don't do anything by yourself. And she told me she wanted to experience more life. This hurt me a lot because she wanted to see, like, because she wasn't 18 yet, but she's like, oh, when I turn 18, I want to go see what the clubs are like with my friends. I want to occasionally drink. You say drinking is bad, but I want to occasionally drink on my birthday, or like on something like this. Or my mum wants to drink with me on my birthday. We want to have 21 shots on my 21st birthday. Basically, she wanted to become a bit of a degen, and her mum was supporting this. Her mum was telling her that I was holding her back from experiencing fucking degenerate life. Because her father wasn't in her life. And that's already a big red flag that I should have seen that, and I should have left straight away, but I stayed like a little bitch. And I can admit this right here, right now. I am a big fucking bitch for this. It's because I saw this shit and I stayed. So basically, she wanted to be a bit of a more degenerate, and I was holding her back. So yeah, of course this hurt me. This hurt me so much, and I knew I had to break up with her. I was like, this relationship ain't gonna last long. I knew it from the fact when she said that she wants to occasionally drink, occasionally go to the clubs, because why would you go, if you're a girl and you're in love with someone, why do you need to go to the clubs? You don't. You go to the clubs to get male validation. That's the only reason you go there. Like, oh, I'm just going to go there with my friends to see, and oh, maybe Jack's going to be there, and maybe Jack's going to plow me in the bathrooms. Fucking bitch. Sorry, I don't want to be mean, and I hope, like, shit doesn't happen, but, like, I'm just vetting my side, I'm vetting this, and I'm trying to give you the best, like, I'm just giving you a story, so maybe you can relate to something, and then I'll give you some advice at the end. But what broke the cycle of me being like pushing my emotions is, I remember I was at my best friend's, and me and him wanted to move in, and he's like, oh, is your girlfriend gonna move in? And I looked at him and I was like, I don't think so. I don't think she's gonna move in with me. Or I don't think she's gonna live with me. And he's like, he got shocked. He's like, well, why? You've been like talking about this all the time. And basically I told him everything. I told him everything about my relationship. Literally everything. I said, like, there was a time where she was like saying, like, we were on call or something, and I was so tired. And when you're so tired, you can't even think properly. But no, I had to be on call with her, because if I went to bed, she'd get upset with me. And it got to a point where she's like, You're like every other guy. Gosh, I thought you were different. I thought you were different, but you're like every other man. And I told stuff like this to my friend, and he was like, "Oh, that's weird." And then he opened up a bit. He said, like, "Yeah, I thought some of the stuff she did was bad, but I didn't want to tell you." And I felt all these emotions that I clouded before they came up, And I was telling my friend, I was like, "Yeah, I'm breaking up with her today. I'm ending this. Like, I can't anymore. I'm ending this. I'm focusing on myself because I know a future lies ahead of me, and it's not with this girl." So I I still remember this. We were at his kitchen, and I could think with my brain before I was thinking with my heart. I could genuinely like look at these aspects, and I was like, "This girl's not good enough for you. You can do better. Stop like hanging with this girl. Stop being with this girl. It's literally just gonna pull you down." So when I went to break up with her, it was like I remember I came home, I called her, I was like, "We need to talk. I don't think this is working out, blah blah blah." And then I think we need to break up. And she was like crying all this. I was quite sad. And then I go into the living room and Mom's like, "Look, I made your favorite muffins." And then me being the little bitch, I just bawled out right there, telling her everything. And my mum being the great mum, she was like, "Well, the stuff doesn't work out. All this stuff, in a nice mum voice," and it helped me. But I wanted like a nice breakup, so I drove over there. It was night. It was pissing down with rain, and we basically we got in my car. We cried like little babies, hugged everything, and I told her like, "I still want you on Instagram. I still want your number because I don't want to like fully lose track of you." Some bullshit like that. And I'm not gonna lie to you, the first couple of weeks were hard. The first 3 days were difficult. I was barely eating. It was genuinely hard. Where like whatever I did, it was hard. The only thing that helped me was when me and my friend hung out. That helped me so much. And then I was getting my wisdom teeth pulled out, so I was literally 2 weeks in bed, couldn't do anything. So that was difficult, bro. It was. I mean, I'm not trying to, be a little bitch here, but it was pretty hard. But once once my teeth were fine and I could go to the gym and I fully started self improvement, that's when life changed. That's when I felt. That's when I felt actually good. And for these past couple of months, I have felt the best I have in my whole entire life. So, and one more thing. She tried to reach out to me. She tried to reach out to me a couple times. We texted, blah, blah, and then I said, "Look, no, sorry, bye, blah, blah, blah." And I deleted her off everything. And then I didn't block her, which I made the mistake because she called me one day. It was crazy. I was going on some bike ride somewhere like 70 Ks or something, and I dreamt about her that exact night. I never dreamt about her, and then I dreamt about her, but it wasn't a good dream. It was a bad dream about her. And then I'm driving somewhere with my dad for a bike ride, and she texts me like, "Hey, what are you doing? I had a dream about you. I'm just wondering if you had one of me as well." The same night. And I'm just like, in my head, "Yeah, I don't believe this. Yeah, okay, we had a dream about each other." Sorry, excuse me. My dream wasn't good. This doesn't mean shit. So I didn't even look at the message. I literally just deleted it. And then a couple of days later, she was calling me because it was 2 days before my birthday, and she was calling me, and I didn't know because it was an unmarked number, and I still remember. It was so funny. I literally picked up the phone. I'm like, "Hello, Jan speaking." She's like, "Hey, it's." I'm not gonna say the name, but "Hey, it's," and I literally just hung up, blocked her number, blocked everything, and then a couple of weeks ago, I came across a voicemail. And I listened to the voicemail. I didn't know who it was. And it was her. And she was saying, like, "I don't know why you blocked me. This isn't very nice of you. But I guess happy birthday in 2 days." She was said it in like an angry tone. And I was like, I looked back and I was like, I made so many mistakes. I made so many like bad decisions, but this was the best decision I made. Just blocking her, removing her, not talking to her, breaking up with her, moving on, because I vetted her, I vetted her hard at the start of the relationship, and there was so many like bad things. There was so much bullshit, but I still continued. I still went into the relationship when I knew I shouldn't have. So I feel like this is the mistake where I made is I got too emotional. I got bonded with her over sex and spending time with her. And this was the first girl that I not can't one of the first girls that I got attention from. So I just took it. I just took it and that was it. And I see I know I try to look at the positives in the relationship, but I see so much wrong things that I did and bad things in this relationship, and I have learned so freaking much. I have learned so much from this relationship, and I want to put a big disclaimer here because everything I've said, everything that I've like talked about, everything that happened in the relationship, I take 100 responsibility for it. This is none of her fault because she's just a girl. I'm taking all responsibility. So everything that happened, if it was her fault, I don't care. It was my responsibility because I was too of a bitch to back out of this relationship. So my advice to you is, I know this is probably shit advice, but pick the right one. Don't do what I do. It is so much easier if you have a friend or a family member that you can literally, in a way, vet. Maybe if you have a best friend, you can vet this girl together, and you'll realize this once you get not a little bit older, because I'm not old. I'm just 19, but when you're vetting a girl, and when you get more attention from females, it's like you can pick options. So what I'm trying to say is when you get a girl, and she just comes to you, don't instantly like get into a relationship with her because she's probably not like good wife material. She's probably just a walking red flag, which I know it's difficult to make if you've never been in a relationship because clearly I effed up quite bad, but because love is easily blindfold. Love is, you get blinded by love and then you don't make decisions with your head. You make them with your heart. You have sex and you literally just produce oxytocin and you like bond with this female, not necessarily in a good way, but not in a bad way either. And that just brings you closer because you've like been inside this person and now you're like, shit, I really love this person even if you don't. So what you can do is take a piece of paper or a journal and just write the good and bad things about her. Or it is super beneficial to do this before you get into a relationship. Write like what she must have, like she must not have a body count of one or more, she must be pure. She must be religious. I don't know. She has to have a strong masculine father. That's one of the main ones, in my opinion. And then you can have some, I don't know, she needs blonde hair, she needs brunette hair, she needs to be 5'3", she needs to be this. But these aren't the like she must have. So have your must have, and then basically don't like bring her over and hold the paper up and like read the paper and then look at her, but vet her like in your own time, and that's going to be easier for you to decide if you actually want to be with this person. And I know it's hard because us guys, when we're like starting our self-improvement journey, we don't really get much attention from females, but it does go up. And I've noticed this as you increase and as you level up as a guy, the women follow as well. So I know it's not an instant gratification because good things don't happen fast. It will take time to find a good woman. But just take advice from me. I've fucked up like, I wouldn't say big time because I learned a lot and I still had fun in this relationship, but it wasn't good for me. So I know it held me back a lot, but like again, it's all my responsibilities. But when you get gut feelings and when you get these emotions, don't cloud them, don't push them away, because your gut is telling you something for a reason. So listen to it, acknowledge it, maybe journal a bit about it, and then make a decision from there. I've made a full guide on NoFap course. It is the top link in the description. It's like a community as well. So if you have problems like this and if you need to talk to other people, there's going to be more people that can talk to each other there about stuff like this, and you can get advice from other people. See ya.